I had no idea that there was even a season 2 of Blue Exorcist, and I have a feeling that maybe you guys didn't either, and I feel like it's very under talked about and nobody really knows about it. I didn't even know about it, so obviously, if I didn't know about it, nobody else knows about it. I'm just kidding, you guys. Everybody knows about Blue Exorcist season 2 other than myself. It was really entertaining. It's on Netflix right now. There's only 12 episodes. It actually picks up after the first season, and the first season, you guys, I watched the first season when I was super young, like super young, and I watched it 2 times, maybe even 3 times, because I thought it was such a good series. But the second season, though, this is where things actually start to get interesting. It's like Ren is learning how to control his flames. That's about it. Like, I mean, he just learns how to control his flames, but he's scared in the process. He's scared that he's gonna hurt his friends again. He's afraid that he's going to cause all this pain and destruction and all this chaos, just like when his dad attacked the monastery back in the day. He thinks that that's gonna happen to him as well because he doesn't have complete control over who he is as a person. And we as individuals, we have that exact same trait. We have these times where we don't know who we are. We don't have complete control of our emotions, of our mental state, of our mind, of our environment, of ourselves. And when this happens, it scares us. We lack confidence. But if we can get all of those under control, we can start to grow in our confidence and we can start to defeat the enemies that stand within our way. So you look at Ren throughout the series and he's all trying to train. He's training hard. He's working hard to be able to make sure that he can defeat these demons that are standing in his way without harming his friends in the process, because his friends mean everything to him. With his friends meaning everything to him, this made it very difficult for him when his friends were ignoring him and saying that they didn't want to be around him, that they didn't want to be surrounded by him or talk to him or have any association with him whatsoever. And this mainly came down to the fact that he didn't trust his friends enough to believe that he was good, even though he was Satan's son. And that's just obviously the part of the series that he didn't understand. And I feel like a lot of people understand this as well, is you don't trust somebody enough to tell them with your secrets because you're worried of how they might react and you might lose those friends in the process. But if you look at Blue Exorcist and what Ren did with his friends when they finally found out that he was the son of Satan, they were even more grateful for him. So if you guys are having any time in your life where you feel like you can't say something or you don't want to say something to your friends or family or anybody that you're close with, it's better just to tell them and let them react the way that they need to react, because if they don't want to be a part of your life, then good, because you don't want them to be a part of your life at all in the first place. It's better to say what you need to be said and do what you have to do than to be fake and to be faking your relationships and be faking who you are as a person and not accept who you are. And that's exactly what Ren did as well, because he didn't accept who he was as Satan's son, so he wasn't willing to withdraw that power. He thought this power and these blue flames were so destructive and would cause so much chaos and pain and suffering to everybody around him, and he didn't want to have to do that because he didn't accept who he was as a person. He accepted who Satan was, and since he accepted who Satan was, this meant that he wasn't able to be the person that he needed to be because he was worried that he would do the exact same thing that his father did. But he wasn't raised by Satan. He was raised by obviously one of the guys in the Vatican, and this made it so that he had different morals, he had different principles than what Satan would have. So he was able to control his flames and be able to become more powerful and become the Blue Exorcist that's going to defeat his own kind, because he was raised with the correct principles that, hey, you know, you're raised as a human, but you will become a demon later in your life. But he didn't know that when he was getting raised, so he understood that he was only human and he needed to protect humans in his journey to become a Blue Exorcist as a demon. And yes, it's confusing and yes, it might not make sense, but when you're raised in the correct manner and you realize that you have all these other goals and traits and other characteristics later in your life, you start to realize that you can do anything that you want to do as long as you accept the person that you are right now. So let's say you have a trait from your father, your mother, your grandparents, whoever raised you, and you don't like that trait about yourself. You have the ability to make that trait your own. You don't have to do the exact same thing that your parents did, that your grandparents did, that your sisters did, like whoever raised you did. You don't have to look at that as a bad thing. If you accept it, then you're going to become stronger than anybody else is out there. That's why Ren was able to defeat the impure king in the end, was because he was able to accept his powers thanks to Shami. If Shami wouldn't have saved him from the impenetrable prison, that was kind of funny. If she wasn't able to save him, he wouldn't have realized that his flames were not destructive, because the only other time he had used his flames was when he fought the demon back in season 1, and that's when all of his friends found out about the blue flame, and all his friends had to reference the blue flame against him was due to the blue night when it killed all these other people. So they just associated blue with death, and when in reality Ren is not about death. He's about protecting those that he cares about and only disintegrating and using his flames for good. So if you guys have a trait, make sure that you use that trait for good. Make sure you use that trait in a way that will help you benefit society, that will help you move yourself forward. Don't be just holding it onto yourself. Don't be just sharing it only with yourself. Share it with others. Consider the fact that you will be able to help more people if you accept the ability that you have that you think might be a handicap, when in reality it's probably the best thing that could have ever happened to you. Just leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell on, and I'll see you in the next one.